Hello and welcome to All For United with me, John MUWFC. Hope you're all keeping well. Man United 2, Birmingham 0. Fantastic start to the week for me. I got a week off work as well, so add that to the men's win in the FA Cup against Liverpool. Not too bad at all. Thank you to everybody who's joining in already. We're going to bring Rahul in halfway through the show. He's going to be discussing Casey's tactics. Can't wait for that one. We've been looking forward to this for 2 or 3 weeks. Let's see how everybody is. Natalie, how are you keeping?
Hiya, John. Hi, everyone, for tuning in. I'm doing good. And like you, got a week off work. I think, these lockdowns are getting to everyone in it. And I think at the start, we wanted to save that leave, but you can't do anything now. So you might as well just take it off. But no, I'm excited, for this season and for next season and for whenever we can get back in, because the girls are doing so good and it's so good to see them smashing it all the time.
Definitely. Matt, what's the weather like up there, guys? I mean, it's thick as snow down here. It stopped snowing, but it's thick. It's on the ground.
Sunny up here. I'm not even joking. It actually is. We've had sun and blue sky this afternoon. Next to change. Cold, but dry and sunny. So all good.
Yeah. How's work, Ben? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's not bad, mate. Not bad. There tonight, and hopefully got the rest of the week off. Fingers crossed. So not too bad.
Good stuff. Right, before we get started, because this is an action-packed show, we've got a lot to go through. All For United have teamed up with Football Town. So if you haven't heard of Football Town before, please check them out. footballtown.com. It's fantastic. It's fashion inspired by the beautiful game of football. If you haven't checked it out, please do. I'm getting paid at the end of the week, and I'm actually going to buy myself one of the shirts. I'm not going to tell you which one, just in case everybody else buys it, and then it sells out, so I can't buy it. But it is really nice. Even if you're not like a Man United fan, it covers shirts from all over the world, international, and also European jerseys, American jerseys. So please check them out. We're going to be winning a competition. So halfway through this show, so long as we get the 15 thumbs up, I want 15 likes on the video before halfway through. So by 8 o'clock, I'm going to check it out, and we should be on 15 likes at least. We're going to be asking a question. The first 5 people to get the correct answer will get put into a prize draw. So I'm looking forward to that one, and that's what we can do now on this show. So that's credit to All For United and credit to ourselves to be able to be in that position. So really looking forward to that fun and games halfway through the show. Thank you to John Neville, Sophie, John Fry, Yehuda, blessings, everybody in the comments as usual. Let's make a start then. So Galton and Toone with the goals. Natalie, how would you summarise that game? What are your thoughts on that game?
It was good. It was good, John. It was one of the, for me, and we sort of said it, haven't we? It was one of the best attacking performances. I know it's only 2 goals, and I know people say, oh, this one was better and this one was better. But for me, just the fluidity, the way they were linking up, the passing. Zelen was back in the middle and she was spraying balls off. And I think, she could have had a couple of assists. There was that one through to Leah who just ran from the left into the middle, and the keeper saved it. It was a good save, to be fair, by the keeper. But, there was Jackie when Lauren, who was on 9, was on the right and she crossed it in. And it was good to see. It was a professional performance. It was managing the game. As soon as we got that first goal, never in doubt. I thought we would have gone and scored a lot more. We didn't. But, for me, I was happy with it. It was good to see. It's good to see people like LJ back, It's good to see people like Zelen back, and Toone moved out to the wing. She looked really good, and she was about everywhere. So for me, I was happy. I mean, we've done what we needed to do. 3 points.
I'll bring Matt in here when you mentioned Toone out wide. I was going to mention this later in the show, but Matt, you've been mentioning this ever since we've been doing All For United, and even further back than that. How did you think she got on that right hand side?
Yeah, quite well, to be honest. I think, like you touched on there, it was something I'd said it in our first season, and a few people looked at me sort of like I was either waffling on or I had 2 heads. But no, I think, kind of touching back, it was something she played in that position for Blackburn and for City with a lot of success, because I think she's quick, she's clever, she's very direct. And it was interesting, actually, because I was trying to obviously saw the lineup and trying to guess the formation. And then when we saw that, she was wide, I think it was good because she does have that kind of know-how and cuts in a lot. And I think it offered us something different. Obviously, I don't recall seeing it at all, actually, with United. I think, she's been more central, or actually, the main striker in a 2 from what I can remember in the first season. So, and then again, she'd swapped at times as well with Leah and sort of drifted left and was more involved in the middle and, little link-ups here and there. So, overall, very impressive. Got another deserved goal as well. And like Nat said, it was a good performance. Important to bounce back, I think, after last week. We kept it patient, didn't let the half-time sort of 0-0 frustrate us. And then we got a goal within, 30, 40 seconds of the second half. So, good, decent performance all around. So, good start to the weekend.
Yeah, I actually thought that it might have been Gronin's opportunity to play out wide. And I know it's not something that she always tends to do, but she's usually like wide of the midfield 3 on international duty. And she played out wide for us. I think it was against Chelsea when she came on and got that assist. So I was kind of thinking, maybe it's Gronin's turn. But I think Toone done a cracking job out wide. And obviously I prefer to see her in the centre, but it just shows that she's versatile and she can do that type of job. Ben, what were your thoughts on that one, mate? Lots of positives.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Probably made to work a little bit harder for the result, I think, than what we may have liked. But the way Birmingham was set up to play, man, they reminded me so much of the Sam Allardyce Bolton Wanderers side, just physical, in your faces. They didn't really want to play football. They were trying to disrupt us as best they could. Just trying to foul us every opportunity, trying to be physical against us. I mean, their captain, God knows how many times I saw her try gobbing off at the referee, trying to get one of our players booked or whatever, They weren't interested in playing football. They were just interested in trying to stop us, in trying to stop us scoring and trying to stop us winning the game. So I think we had to be patient and, we had to not get frustrated. And we didn't get frustrated at all. We just kept to our game, kept passing the ball around, kept knocking it around. And eventually we got our rewards with two great goals.
I think we did show a lot of patience. I think we sped things up in the second half in regards to forward passing. I think in the first half it was great to see a lot of like two-touch passing, and we very much controlling passing. But there wasn't much like intense forward passing. Whereas in the second half, I very often saw Toone pick up the ball, turn around, face the opposing goal. And not sure what's going on there.
Technology.
I've got no idea. Let's see. I've no idea what went on there. Sorry, but yeah, it was great to see Toone pick that up and just go straight towards the goal, keeping the head up, looking for passes, and obviously getting a few shots away in that second half as well. I want to talk a bit about Hayley Ladd as well, because as a CDM, you don't really get spoken about that much. It's usually all the flair and the creative players. For me, obviously, she doesn't get spoken about enough. She kind of missed the first half of the Birmingham game last time, came on in the second half, changed the way things are going. We played that 4-1-4-1 when we was attacking, and she just really held that midfield really well. I just wanted to just give a bit of a shout out to Hayley Ladd. Matt, I know you're a big fan of Hayley. What were your thoughts on that midfield battle throughout that game?
Yeah, I think, like you said, she covers it and doesn't always, and I've said this a lot, doesn't always get the credit. It kind of goes unnoticed because people tend to focus, like you said, on sort of our attacking players. But I think, you referenced the first game, and I think it was funny, actually. I was looking back at some of the things, some of the tweets that I'd put out from that first game, and one thing I did say was the midfield. First thing was the midfield. We weren't getting it together. And the second thing was about, getting our wide players more on the ball. And again, I did actually reference that this time as well, funnily enough, about the wide players. But yeah, I think, Hayley, again, she's just got that calming presence. Nothing seems to faze her. She kind of, she'll come in, she'll screen that back four. Saw her breaking forward a couple of times as well, sort of edge of their box. But yeah. Listen, I love Hayley. I think she was what we needed when we signed her. She's very physical and she doesn't give people a minute. And I think sometimes in our first season, we might have been a bit, not as physical as we could have been. And I think just with that bite she adds to midfield, it does give a very kind of calm balance. And I think, she just works well with everybody, really. Good
to see Katie Zellen back as well. I thought she would come back into this game. as captain as well, even though the admin team kind of made a mistake on that one. Look, I was really glad to see her back. I wasn't surprised. I think it was a game to see her back in. I can't see why she shouldn't have played that game. And it was another captain's performance, I thought, on that one. I did think that she, I wouldn't say like she took it by the scruff of her neck, because I think everyone done that, but she just like fitted in as if like she was a starter again. And at the moment, she's probably not a starter. She's got to work her way back in. But I think that game was impressive to see her back. Was there any surprises for yourself, Nat, in the starting 11?
No, well, probably even Zellum starting, and I think the way it's set up, and I think Toone, like I said, on the right, and I think for me, Zellum, like you say, it was her chance to come in, do her thing, and I think she did really well. I think, I've sort of said there's one or two opportunities. There's one opportunity she could have scored in the second half. There was a couple of opportunities with assists, for a bit more kind of, people have been saying a number 9, clinical, fair enough. Yeah, we could have taken some of them, but I thought she did really well. I was really happy to see her back. I love her like in and around that kind of area, just spraying the ball off to the wing, to Leah, to Toone, who was on the right, and just chipping balls over. It was just great to see. And LJ was doing a bit of that in the end, and that was great to see. I definitely thought we'd definitely see LJ come back in and start. But for me, it's just good to have those players that you can call on no matter what. It doesn't matter that you've not been playing for a while. You come in and you put in that performance, and now there's that competition there. And who's going to start like next week? Who knows? Playing Everton, you're going to start doing different things. It's good to see Fuso coming on. The talent is there in abundance, and it's on Casey really now, isn't it, to sort of get those players the minutes and keep everyone happy, which I think she's doing, and I think she's doing a great job of it. And it's just great to see. We're just going to keep building, keep winning, go about our business the way we should be doing, and everyone's fighting for each other. That's what you want to see, and I loved it.
Let's go into a bit of detail on that regarding LJ and Fuso. Ben, let's give you a chance to talk about LJ. So she scored last week, got an assist this week. It's nice to see her get that start against Birmingham. You can't argue if she maintains in that starting 11 in some shape or form, whether it be as a number 10 or out wide or even up top.
Yeah, Lauren James, I must say every single week is the best young footballer I've seen in a long, long time. I think she's back fit. She's now got the little bit of game time under her belt. She's now hammering at that door now, saying, "Gaffer, I need to start now every single week. I scored last week. I've assisted this week. There's not much else. A reason. There's not a reason why I should be dropped onto the bench again." I think she brings us such a different element to our game now. There's not very many players in our team that the ball sticks to. And I mean, she could have 3-4 players around her. Them players are struggling to get the ball off her. Very rarely a first touch lets her down. So if someone's hammered the ball into her or the ball's coming in over the top, instant first touch control, and she's away. I think though, when you look at Lauren James, you just know, no matter, she could have the quietest game in the world, but you just know she just needs that one little chance, and she's turned the game on the head. She spun the game right round in Manchester United's favour. So I would continue to start her now. She's started to lay her claim in now, and it's for the rest of the squad now to prove themselves now, to try and get up to the levels of Lauren James and try and oust her from the team. Because for me, you cannot drop someone who's playing that well again. That well at the minute. I just run out of great things to say about her. I think sometimes you say, you get your head up more and look for that pass a little bit. But then I like the risk takers. I like the players that make something happen on the pitch. And every time she gets on the ball, I know, Nat knows, everybody knows something's going to happen. Or she's going to make something happen. And that's what you always expect from your players, that give you that little bit of flair, that give you that little bit of an edge to your game, because you know that they're not scared to take the ball. They're not scared to have that responsibility to go out and do something, like take somebody on, do a little bit of an outrageous skill. Maybe look for the first time quick pass. Sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. But instead of being like a safe, conservative player, and then you're struggling to make things click at the top, or when you need to go up the gears, at least you know that Lauren James is one of them players that's not frightened to get the ball down and make us play and get us going in them final third. Because sometimes, some players may not just have that little bit of confidence up front or up top there, and they hold it up a little bit too long, or the ball might not get passed around quickly enough. But at least with Lauren James, is that she's looking, where can I hurt the opposition? Can I hurt the opposition by running at them? Can I get a pass away? Can I get a shot away? Do you know what, mate? I think she's... Leah Galton's our best player of the season, no doubt. But our best talent, Lauren James, is hard to argue. For me, it's hard to argue against it.
I want to just say, John, I've seen like people saying she's playing her best football and all this, Wayne Rooney and all this, beyond her years. It's just the way that she just plays. It's not like set. She just goes everywhere across the pitch. She was pulling off to the left. She was pulling off to the right. That's how the goal game being on the right. And, it's just, even though she's that 9, she's creating so much around her that, even maybe we probably need a 9 next to her or something like that. But she was just creating so much around her and being fluid and moving. And I just think that adds so much to this team for me, because like Ben said, she's the best thing, and it for me, we are seeing the best football in her, because I think in the start, in 2018, even last year, you could say, oh, she wasn't passing enough or she wasn't doing this. But I think now, even that Chelsea game, you saw her tracking back and you're seeing it more. And I think she won the ball in our area and then was on an attack. And, that's what you need to see from LJ. If she definitely, works up and down a lot more, even though she's up as a 9, if you see her on the edge of the opposition, in our half and then winning the ball, and then she's suddenly in the other half like that, that's LJ. That's what's going to be frightening. And, like you said, that's what Rooney used to do. He used to win it in our opposition, pass it through, and then we'd be off. Yeah. And I can see it being that, like, kind of, Fuso's another one like that, like the way she come, and I know we're going to talk about it, and I know someone else, but them runs, it's just different levels.
It's kind of just occurred to me that we haven't seen our players now in, for me, I think it's been exactly a year. I think you guys went to the Everton away game, so it's probably just close to a year. We kind of forget that LJ is now a year older, and a year at that age means so much to them. So she probably has matured, and there was a comment on screen earlier about her maturing in that interview. I thought that was a great interview. I really wanted to hear what she was saying, and she held herself well, and I just thought that was really nice to see. We need to see more of LJ in these interviews, because she's got a lot of fans out there, hasn't she? For someone who's still young, who hasn't played every game, who's still developing, she has got a massive fan base, and it's just nice to see a lot of good things being spoken about her. We touched on Katie Zellem and Jackie in the midfield with Toone. What were your thoughts on about the actual formation? Because the way I saw it, it was very much 4-1-4-1 when we had the ball, but then Katie dropped deep at times, especially in the first half. Matt, I know you like your tactics, so I'll come on to you a little bit here. Do you think it makes that much of a difference where we start talking about that much detail, or do you just see it as 4 defenders, 3 midfielders that work well together, and then 3 people who put the ball in the back of the net, or do you actually see it in a bit more detail than that?
See it in a bit more detail, but I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here, and only based on what I saw on Siobhan Chamberlain's Instagram, because she was commentating from UTV, but I think she had it written down on a whiteboard as a 4-1-2-3, something crazy. I mean, listen, all these formations, they're kind of similar in terms of there's not much difference in between the role and what you get out of it. But I think it does make a difference in terms of how it's played. For example, if it's like a 4-2-3-1, obviously your role wherever you're playing, whether it's in the holding 2 or that attacking 3, does change. And sometimes it might be that if you're one of the attacking 3 in your central, you might be asked to come back when out of possession and kind of screen the midfield for those kind of 2 holding, tracking back. So there's a lot kind of with and without the ball in terms of that. But I think how we set up, I mean, like we touched on earlier, it was different. There was certain players that, like, for example, Toone wide, we kind of didn't expect. But, it's one of them. It worked. It's something different. You've always got to change your style and the way you play based on your opposition. Same for your starting players and your personnel. But I think it's one of them. I think we've moved on since season 1. Season 1, we were very, very attacking against completely different teams. And I think season 2 and obviously this 3rd season, we've had to maybe adapt and learn sort of different styles and different ways of playing. And we've sort of we got 3 quarters or over half of the season last year to kind of figure it out. So I think it's good that we've now got a big squad and the flexibility to be able to do so. I mean, I've said it on past shows, I'm not a huge fan of 2 holding, but I think as long as it's not too defensive, then I'm not, massively against it. I think it's good that we touched on Hayley before. She kind of screens the back and it allows Jackie a bit more freedom this year. And I think, Jackie's a lot better for that this season than last year, where she may have, been asked to do something that wasn't kind of in a remit. It shouldn't have been asked of her. I think it was slightly unfair last year, but I think now this year, sort of Jackie's settled and she's being pushed further on and Hayley protects the back. I think it just gives her more freedom to pull those strings in midfield for me.
Nat, I know you'd like to talk about Fuso. I thought she had so much energy, didn't she? And it's great to see Casey saying she's been bright in training. I think that was her exact words. She was bright in training. She deserved minutes. She didn't just come on for 5 minutes. She had a good half an hour, and it was great to see her making them runs on and off the ball. Go on, Nat. You carry on this one.
Oh, it was just great, John. I mean, she would pick up the ball from the middle of the park and just run at defenders, and they were running backwards. They were panicked. They were terrified, and it's unfortunate she didn't get a goal, but I think that's what she needs. She just needs minutes, and I think we just seen the kind of player that she is. She's very, very raw, but she's very talented, and like you say, the way she's running at people are going to be scared of that, and, the way we do play is very counter-attacking as well sometimes, and so I think to bring her on, even when she was playing versus Everton, which are a lot better side than Birmingham, more depth, they were so scared as well. And I just think if she sorts out, maybe, I think it's a bit of like, I'm coming on, it's my first debut, I'm at home and all this, and I know that people are watching, and I think she just sorts out some of her, touches in the box, but some of the passes were really good. She passed it off to Hansen at one point. I thought, go on, shoot. And I just think, that's what we love to see. You love to see a player running at someone, and she just comes on with a smile, always smiling throughout, smiles at the end, takes over picture. She loves it. And that's one player, because when players are running, you can just imagine us all standing up on your feet. It brings excitement. I was excited. I was screaming at the telly, run! And I just think, imagine if we were there, man. And I just, she would get even more excited. So probably it's better that we're not there, because she can just focus. Because, God, if she scored, man, and we was there.
Now they've been on the pitch, she scored.
I'd run on the pitch. It'd be over. It would be so good. And that's someone who that's the Man United, man. That's what you want to see. You want to see kids flourishing and thriving and being happy to put on this shirt. This badge means so much to them. They're so grateful. They're so happy. Men or women don't matter. They love this club.
And you can tell that. I mean, you kind of said a few things that I wanted to say. You could actually see that she's excited to play. And you can say that about probably all the Man United team, but because she is so young and she's still new to the team and she probably still wants to prove a point, I just can't wait until she scores that first goal. Those celebrations, whether we're not going to be there or not, she's going to be loving it.
Expecting big things with that.
Yeah.
Dance moves. I want to see, we've all seen them now. I tweeted at that actually. I'm disappointed if we don't get a little Brazilian samba dance. Not going to be happy.
Well, that'll be up there with Galton's and Jackie's kind of chest bump that never really happened. Did you see that one on Twitter?
Yeah,
that was quite funny as well.
But I'm going to say one thing about the social distance. Forget it, man. They're all in the same team. You know, we start at the end. Millie pick up 2. They live together. Let them have fun, man. I don't know.
Yeah. It's almost like them doing it for the sake of doing it. Like, it looks good on TV if we do this. And it's not many guys who've done this, I'm sure, because all the teams are doing it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just for the cameras, I guess. But they get tested, don't they? So they know that they have. But I understand. They have to do everything that they can possibly do, I guess. Ben, I don't want to finish talking about Fuso just yet. So, what were your thoughts on Fuso yesterday?
It's like everything Nat said, man. It's the energy, the exuberance she brings. She brings a vibe. She's like the energy crew, you know. She'll be perfect, you know, to get a match day experience. The last 20 minutes, you know, bang her on. You know, legs are tiring and the back lines, bang her on, because that energy that she has, you'll soon see she'll start banging in goals, man, you know. And I think I'm excited to see how she actually fares up against the more established centre halves, you know, the bigger international players, you know, because I think she could. Someone like Steph Horton, for example, she would absolutely kill Steph Horton. You know, I just can't wait to see something like that, and I'm going to go yes. Also, though, you know, never mind the Samba thing. Remember, she's German as well. I want to see her do a Klinsmann dive. You can't be German, not do a Klinsmann dive. We're celebrating, you know.
I'm sure last time I saw was LJ. I don't want to see what LJ did last time. You almost broke her back doing that. Okay. It was I think it was
just so long as I don't try doing Nat's knee slide at Everton away, though.
Oh,
proper face plant into the ground.
They'll do it better than me. They will practice them celebrations. They'll have him locked down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, the possession was great, so like 74%. We had something like 23 shots on goal. I think about 8 on targets. It was very dominant. Just not quite clinical in front of goal. I know on Amber's video on the AFU WFC Twitter page, I think she was saying something that I agreed with about just needing to be more clinical in front of the final third. And I think, you know, we do need to step up in that area. I don't know what it is. I think I summed it up as I think I want to see more movement when you're off the ball, players trying to run into space where they can actually get shots off goal, because it come across to me that a lot of the shots was outside the box and it was forced. So I do think like one thing to work on going forward is obviously against these teams with that much possession, we do need to find ways of cutting them open a little bit more in that final third. I don't know if you guys kind of agree with that, but any final thoughts on that one at all?
I think just patterns of play, isn't it? Like you said, try and maybe work something in. I think mix it up, you know, some in the box, some outside the box. But we have talked about, haven't we, numerous times about the lack of clinicalness. And I can't put my finger on it. I know a lot of people saying out and out number 9, and I agree. I think just that lethal finisher in the box. I mean, we've got one, but she's injured at the minute. Hopefully back in the next sort of 2-3 weeks in Leslie. But I think it's difficult when somebody like that is out, because you're kind of looking to somebody else or to change the way we play. But I mean, listen, we're sat top again, so no complaints at the minute. It's just going to be one of them where it's going to be difficult in the Champions League, because you're coming up against sort of Europe's best, where we're really going to have to kind of take these chances if we want to obviously, you know, look at getting in semi-finals and finals of that. But listen, we're 2.5 years in, so I mean, yeah, so far not too bad, lots to work on, so all good for me.
For me, I think they've had, you know, they're always talking about extra training, staying later, practicing. Ella Toone talks about it. And I think that, you know, even someone like Jackie, I mean, I know people say waiting for to score, and I think she should have scored, really, at least got it on target. And I think, you know, in the first half, she had that chance, but she has done so much. And I just think it's, like Matt says, if we've not got Leslie, we need someone like Jackie, you know, even if it's just Jackie, Lad, even if it's just scoring 2 or 3 each, you know, that's 6 goals between 2 players. It just adds that extra, and we had it in the Championship, but like you say, it's a different kettle of fish, and then we're stepping up again, so it's going to be another different kettle of fish. Whether she adds another striker, who knows? But you know, I think we need more from the midfield as well, and it is good that Leah's stepping up and scoring them, and Toone. But you know, I think those central midfielders as well be really good.
That's the thing for me. It's not about clinical about the strikers not being good enough. It's nothing to do with that, because we can see all the players on the pitch are goal scorers. For me, it's just not getting that clear-cut chance where they can just make it easy for themselves. It's like everything just seemed like a little bit harder than it needed to be across the full 90 minutes. So that's for me. I think it's just getting that final ball to a player to have like an easier opportunity, I guess. That's like the detail that I was kind of looking at. Go on, Ben.
We missed a fox in the box, so to speak. You know, a lot of the players like to be on the ball, so they'll come and drop deep, and they like touches on the ball. You know, there's no real greedy fox in the box. I'm talking about a Van Nistelrooy type greediness. I'm going to stand there in this box. Give me the ball. I'll put it in the back of the old onion bag, lad, for you. You know, we ain't got that. You know, at the minute Leslie's out injured, she was the only one that you could probably say, yeah, fox in the box. There is no fox in the box. Jess Sigsworth plays. Jess Sigsworth likes to get the ball. Likes to come deep. Give me the ball. You know, they all like to be on the ball. There's nobody there that likes to stand there and go, here I am. I'm in the box. Feed me. Give me the ball. You know, and that's what we miss, I think. I think we really need to find that fox in the box that knows that I just stay around the penalty area, feed me the ball, I'll put it in the net. Jobs are good on. Ding dang do.
Ding dang do. You heard it here first. Brilliant. Yeah. Couple of messages on screen before we go through player of the match. Martha Harris, obviously off injured. Rumours of, well, she's being checked for broken ribs, isn't she? I mean, if that's broken rib, that's something a lot more serious than I thought at the time. Hopefully not that serious. Has anybody heard anything more about that since yesterday?
No.
I haven't heard anything of that. And Nat, this was going to be for you, mate. This one's for you.
You know, we talk about it on Thursday, Transfer Thursdays. If you watched our shows from the start, you would know what I think about Eva. Eva is fantastic.
Well, she's winning the poll at the moment. We've got a poll going, so we'll check that poll for Thursday.
Yeah. Because people watch, John. It's because people watch. They know, so they're voting.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up with player of the match. I'm going to go Leah Galton. Probably no surprise there coming from me, but there were other contenders. Natalie, yourself?
I mean, I suppose I was going to go Leah Galton, but I can't go Leah Galton now. I've got to go LJ. Just because, for me, it wasn't... She was that 9, but she was creating everything as well. And she was getting her own shots away. So, for me, you know, that's... In a way, I suppose that's our style of play. That's how we play, fluid. You know, she was on the right, she was through the middle, she was doing this, she was doing that. And, you know, that's how I want us to play. For me, I think that's how Casey wants us to play. But I don't want to put words in the gaffer's mouth. But it was great to see. So her coming back, getting, you know, about 60, 70 minutes, it was good. And I'm really happy. And it's just onwards and upwards for her now.
Definitely, yeah. Matt, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, close one again. I'm going to give it Toone. I think just obviously a goal capped off a good sort of team display, but I think just the adaptability, you know, I mean, like I said, I'd kind of seen her out right. Obviously, she's not played there for a while. I think, you know, the little links up, a box-to-box sort of energy. Yeah, good all-around performance. But, you know, like you touched on, you know, I think LJ, Leah, you know, got some comments saying owner as well. It gets difficult every week, which is a good thing, I suppose, because it shows, you know, that everyone's kind of on top form and stuff's clicking. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Toone for this week.
Fair enough. Absolutely. Ben?
Well, since you lot picked Leah and LJ already, I want to go for Hayley Ladd. The thing is, though, with Hayley Ladd, though, like Matt said earlier on, she quietly goes about her business. And every team needs that player, that one player that'll do the dirty work. That go, you know, just quietly goes around, does the dirty work. You know, I think I don't know if I can say the word, but I'm not going to say the word because I don't know if we can swear on here. But the master of the dark arts is what I'm looking for. The master of the dark arts, and she's the master of the dark arts. You know, whether it's a technical foul or whether it's just maybe giving the player a little bit of a shirt pull or something like that. You need players like that does all the dirty works. Let Jackie go and play. Let Jackie go and just try and dictate the play a little bit more. I'll just sit here and I'll just hang around and I'll just get my foot in when their midfielders are in possession. I'll just try and break up their play. I just think that people like that don't really necessarily get all the credit they deserve. But without a heady lad, we look a different team. We look a little bit lost in midfield. We look like, who's going to do that nitty gritty? Who's going to get in there and do the hard work? Who's going to get their shorts dirty? Who's going to get the shirt dirty? Heady lad don't care about if she comes off with a clean kit. She wants to come off with 3 points, and I just think the unsung hero for me this time.
Yeah, I think she's getting recognised more and more each game now, because I think a lot of fans who may be new to the club probably didn't know her that well before, whereas now they're definitely realising she's got a massive part to play in all our wins this season. Are we ready for the competition, guys?
Yeah.
Get your pen and paper out. So this competition, All for United channel is calling it Winning is Easy. So there we go, Winning is Easy. And basically, we'll start that one. Just put a W in the comments if you like that or not. Look, there's going to be a prize draw when we reach 2,500 subscribers. Football Town is helping us up until 3,000 subscribers, and we'll see where we go from there. But it's a cracking opportunity to be entered into a prize draw to get some free merchandise. And I've already said I've already got one that's going to go on order in the next 3 or 4 days. So what we need to see is we've got 19 thumbs up, so we're ready to rock and roll. I'm happy with that. We're going to ask a question, and you guys are going to put the answer in the comments. The first 5 people to get the correct answer, we're going to write the name down, and you guys get put into a prize draw. It's as simple as that. But please, if you have got Twitter, just put your Twitter handle at the side of the answer as well, just so it's easier for us to get in touch with you. If you haven't got Twitter, not a problem, still answer, but just bear in mind that we may have to contact you elsewhere. So, I'm going to come up with. I've got today's question. Natalie's got Thursday's question. Okay, so everyone get ready. And if no one answers or no one gets it right, I'm putting my own name in the draw. So,
that's cheating.
We're winning your prize.
So cool, out. Love it. Okay, guys. In our first season, 2018-2019, who was our leading goal scorer?
Come on.
Answer in the comments.
Simple, this one. Come on, guys. Even if you don't know,
Have a guess.
Have a guess. Who do I like?
Who do I like?
Everyone.
Who just rang Ben or Matt, whoever's on the phone? Oh, we've got one. I'm not saying if it's right or not.
And that.
Yeah.
Googling answers, Ben.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, there we go. We're getting there.
Yeah.
We just need one more person. If no one goes in, I'm going in.
Put your Twitter on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
We know them all. That's perfect. There we go. So, Thank you, guys. John Fry, I've got you on Twitter. We know who you are. Yeah. John, if you're on Twitter, inbox me, DM me, or I'm sure All for United might recognise you, so we can get you through there. Blessings. We know who you are. Thank you very much, mate. John, of course. Thank you. We've got your. Thank you, Kate. We'll put you into the prize draw when we get to 2,500 subs. All for United is going to do a prize draw, and your name is in there. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Nice one. Thank you very much. Right, I think it's time that we bring in Rahul. I know it's getting late where he is at the moment, so I do appreciate him staying up. Hello,
Rahul. Pleasure to be here.
What time is it there, mate?
It's I think 1:40 a.m. at the moment, so it's pretty late in the night.
Have you been to sleep and then got back up, or have you stayed awake?
No, I've been up. I was studying, so.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. Look, you wrote an article. I think it got uploaded on January the 9th, if I remember correctly, and it was brought to my attention, so I messaged you, and I thought it was a real in-depth article on tactics. And me and Matt was talking about tactics and wanted to go into a bit more detail, and then your article just popped up. So I've read through it. I've put a few tweets out with the article, so I don't know if anyone's seen it, but if you have, this is a good opportunity to talk about it. So first of all, just talk to us a little bit about how you got interested in Man United women's team.
So for those of you who don't know, I'm actually a Man City fan. But I recently started watching the WSL, and I've just been looking at all the big teams. I've been looking at Arsenal, City, United, Chelsea as well, and it's really interesting to see the way they play, and it's kind of they all have different tactics and different ways of playing, and it just looks really really good when it all comes together. So that's how the Man United women's team also is, and I love watching them play.
Guys, Matt, Nat, Ben, if you've got any questions, just fire in there because I've got obviously I'll just kind of just talk to Rahul.
Yeah.
I just want Rahul just to kind of use his chance to kind of hear his thoughts really. So you started off the article talking about Casey. What do you think of her philosophy in the way that she plays? Obviously, it's been very successful across the 2.5 seasons. What do you think that's down to?
So talking about Casey Stoney, I think when I was, researching for the article, I actually got to know that when the United team was getting formed in 2018-19, that the first season, right, or the second, I don't know, she was actually given only 4 weeks to gather 21 players for her team, and she did an excellent job at that. She got in, players who had played for the previous United team, like club captain Katie Zellum, Millie Turner. I think Ella Toone was very young that time. She's still 21, but she was brought in too. And in the summer, I think this year they signed Mona Batley, who I think was my man of the match for yesterday's game, or women of the match. She was excellent yesterday. I think she had 93 touches, which was the highest. She completed 2 out of her 3 tackles, and she also had a 90% passing accuracy rate, which is just exceptional. So I think she was very good. And Lucy Staniforth as well was brought in the summer. She's also turned out to be a good signing. So talking about Casey Stoney's philosophy more, I think she's one of those managers, who likes to be aggressive with her team on the pitch. So by that I mean more pressing, winning the ball back high up the pitch, winning the ball back quicker, making her players run more, press the other team, force them into mistakes, and then move forward with the ball, and obviously with the quality they've got in the side, it just becomes easy for them to score. So that's how Casey Stoney does it.
There's one stat on the screen. And I just want to go through this stat that's on the article. Then please, you guys jump in because I don't want to take over. But there's just one stat on the screen that I was a little bit surprised with on this one. We talk about wing play. They're in the centre. 27% possession. On the left-hand side, 36. On the right-hand side, 37. Now, that surprises me because I think looking at it, a lot of the attacks come through Leah Galt on the left, or maybe Tommy Heath when she played there. So I was a little bit surprised to see that stat. Guys, what do you think on that? Let's start off with Natalie regarding the wing play and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for me, I think, well, I know it's going to sort of go on to Casey. For me, I think she plays a different style to every other team, and I'm surprised that a lot of teams don't potentially play the way she does, pressing high up. I think, the wing play, Man United are known for wing play, so it doesn't surprise me that they're playing on the wing. But, yeah, I feel like more teams play through the middle. They've got 10, not that we haven't got good, but they've got more, of people cutting through the corners in the middle and through balls down that. I see Arsenal doing a lot of through balls. Why do you think other teams don't play the same way sort of that we do? What do you think it is with the WSL that you don't see a lot of people maybe pressing as high as Casey?
That's honestly an interesting question, and I think it still comes down to the philosophy, right? The way she trains her players to make them want to press more, to win the ball back higher up the pitch. Because a lot of the times, what can happen is if you drop deeper, right, when the other team is attacking, there's more chances of you conceding a goal. So it's much better to try win the ball up the pitch, which is I think what Casey Stoney loves doing. That's why she's trained her players in a way. So I think I mentioned somewhere in the article that whichever way they set up, there's always 3 players pressing up front. And that allows them to play against a team who's defending with 3 defenders or 3 centre backs, or against a team who's defending with 2 centre backs, right? And that really helps out. because when there's three players, the three forward players can actually attack those three centre backs and try to win the ball. While if there's two defenders, the attacker in this case, I would actually say Alessia Russo, because she's really, really good at doing this. She can drop in or move up, in between the two centre backs and try to create problems for them with her movement. So it's really, really interesting the way Casey Stoney uses her front three.
Ben, I know you're a massive fan of our wingers. Ben, what are your thoughts on that? Oh, Natalie's gone. I'm sure she'll be back. The fact it doesn't matter who we play, as Rahul says, that's our philosophy, to get the ball out wide, and it always seems to work, doesn't it? Obviously, we wouldn't want to change that, but we've got some excellent players to actually do that philosophy, haven't we?
We have, mate, yeah, but let's not also forget the fullbacks as well. Like to push up high, like to go on as well. So, especially with Ona, she's constantly up and down there. The most surprising thing that surprised me was the left-hand side. The right-hand side being more than left-hand side. But then again, when you see that Kirsty Hansen plays sometimes on the right-hand side, she likes to drive in at the fullbacks. So that's probably another reason as well. We've got, and let's not forget, our players are very interchangeable. They can swap wings as well. They can swap different types of positions over. 1 minute you can have Galton on the left, Hansen on the right, or they could swap over. So it all depends really on what kind of team we're playing, what kind of style that we're coming up against. But let's not forget, that's the great Manchester United way, is that all our players are interchangeable. We used to do it with Ronaldo and Giggs, used to switch wings. One player might be not having a great time against a certain fullback, so let's swap them over and let's see what the other player's doing against that fullback. So I think it's very, very smart play. That position, because we all think that Leah Galton's the one. We get the ball to Leah will take them on, but let's not forget that Leah can then switch to the right hand side as well. So yeah, I'm just actually baffled. That's got me. The right hand side produced more down that side than the left hand side. I'm absolutely baffled. But but then again, that's because we've got interchangeable players for me. Players that can interchange and swap with each other and swap it, comfortable on either wing. And let's not forget our fullbacks that to bomb them and get forward as well.
We see that a lot, don't we? Next part of your article, Rahul, was about the defence, about the stability and that kind of strategy. First of all, what do you think of our back four? Are you happy with what you've seen, or would you change it at all? And secondly, what do you think about the actual whole team performance? Because we defend from the front. We spoke about Hayley Ladd being the central defensive midfielder. Just the whole defensive strategy in general.
I'll be honest. So I've seen a lot of teams play a back four, right? And some of them can get it really wrong. But I think United, the reason they defend very well is because they do the basics right. And in football, if you just have a good, strong foundation, that's more than enough to get you very far. And that's what United do really well. They defend properly. They don't make any unnecessary mistakes or any unforced errors. Passing is really, really good. Whenever there's someone running at the defense, the defenders know exactly when to put in the tackle. So I think it again comes down to Casey Stoney and the way she trains them. Another thing that I noticed about the back four was, or rather the whole team, as you asked, was that when United are out of possession, the two holding midfielders. So if I take the example of yesterday's game, so Hayley Ladd and Jackie Groenen. So the two holding midfielders actually drop in to make a block of 6, right? And once this block of 6 is ready, it's really solid, and that helps in defending better. And like you said, the players who are up front keep pressing, so you start defending from the front, and if they somehow beat the press, you have a back 6 ready to just break up the attack and get the ball. So that's a really interesting feature. One more thing I want to add is this was a very startling statistic, which is that teams have an average XG of minus 6.66 against United, which means, you can guess that they concede the lowest in the league, or they concede the lowest quality chances in the league, which is huge for a defense for a United team who's very new to the WSL. And it's just startling, and it's really, really good to see.
Where do you get all your stats from? Because I've seen some of the stats on there, and it's not something that you can just suddenly find that easily. So how do you go, without giving your secrets away? I mean, is it other websites, or do you look at it yourself, or have you got a team of people that you work with?
Yeah, so it actually comes down to the people at BTL. They provide us with these statistics, and they leave it to us to use them in any way whatsoever. So that's really helpful.
Fantastic, Nat. I think you missed some of that there, but it was basically talking about our defenders. And I know no one's a bigger fan than owner than yourself. What we was basically saying is that our defenders just the amount of chances that's created against us is lower than most other teams, and you can see why with our back four.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Honor is one of the best fullbacks, if not the best, potential to be the best. And I mean, she really epitomises, I think, that attacking, but as well as winning the ball back high up the pitch. I know, you probably talked about Ona, but that for me, she's changed everything from last year. I don't know how much you watched Rahul last year, but she's really added that attacking impetus, but it's part of the reason why we can do what we do. What do you think of Ona?
I actually talked about Ona a little while ago, and the fact that for me she was player of the match yesterday. And I think for me personally, again, I think Ona's really young. She's probably like 21 or 22, if I'm not wrong. And the fact that she's already so good, running up and down the pitch, getting involved in those attacks, and also coming back to defend when she needs to. Really goes to show what a bright future she has ahead of her. And it's like as Nat also mentioned, if she's probably one of the best fullbacks in the league, if not the best fullback. I'd like to say Lucy there, but I mean Ona Bartley is very good. And it's really good to see. I think what she has, compared to other fullbacks in the league, is probably the more, more heart and more will to go forward. I think sometimes you don't go forward because you feel like you might get exposed at the back defensively. But because Ona Bartley can cover while running back, I think it makes her really, really dangerous as a fullback. So
can you see
every team's built on solid foundations, though. You look at the goalkeeper and the two centre halves. That's as solid as you're going to get. The Turner and Turner combos has been just treated as well since day one. And now we've got a solid goalkeeper in there. I think it's solidified the back, and then that's allowing Battle to then go bomb on. She can then go bomb on without having to worry too much, because you've got your two solid centre halves that are playing week in, week out, and you've got your goalkeeper that's there talking to the defenders and everything. And I think that solid base, that solid three there, has allowed us then to push our fullbacks up a bit more. You don't have to worry about defending too much. You know what I mean? Because that Turner's going to cover. So I think that without that solid foundation and that three there, I don't think you'll be able to see Ona bombing on as much as she does. But I'd be really, really impressed with Ona. I think she's really surprised me. I knew she was going to be good, but I didn't think she was going to be this good. So I started getting that in there. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah. Can you see, Rahul, maybe us getting another fullback like Ona, or do you think they're going to go for more defensive fullback? So saying if Ona's on the right, can you see like the left? If we say do get a new left back, because we had Lotta, can you see that person being as attacking as well as Ona?
It's kind of hard to say given Ona's form at the moment. Anyone they buy will have to earn their spot in the team. But I feel like, I think if Casey Stoney is to go for a fullback, she would probably buy someone who's a little bit more defensive. Maybe prioritizes defending, over attacking. I'm not saying Ona doesn't, but Ona is a more attacking fullback. So I think Ona perfectly suits Casey's system. But as you asked Nat, I think if they were to buy a new fullback, she would probably be more defensive minded.
Cool. One last point that I want Matt to dominate as well is Rahul's article. Your last point was about Ella Toone. So Ella Toone's Brilliance, it was called. And for anyone who hasn't seen the article just yet, check the links because we have added some links to our Twitter page. If not, Rahul, please comment on our tweets, because there's a lot of images here that I can't show because obviously it's on computer, but there's a lot of heat maps and statistics that's just too hard to show you. But I'm looking at this one here on Ella Toone. Please tell me what your thoughts on Ella Toone, and why did you choose to focus on Ella Toone?
Unlike a lot of cams, right? So as a center attacking midfielder, you would expect them to naturally stay very high up the pitch, try to create chances for the team, and try to maybe even score goals. But Ella Toone just doesn't do that. She also has that defensive, thing in her game. So, if I had to elaborate more, Casey Stoney's put her in this role where whenever United lose possession of the pitch, Ella Toone is sweeping, that final third area to win the ball again. And again, like Ona, she's very young, so naturally she's more full of energy and pace and everything. So she can win the ball very high up the pitch. And if you look at the article, there's a small map, like her defensive map, that shows you her average positions up the pitch. So she wins the ball very close to the center circle, or higher than that, which is really good for United. And another startling statistic is she has about 74% success rate with her defensive actions, which is absolutely mind-blowing for an attacking midfielder, right? You would not expect that from an attacking midfielder. But she wins the ball, she creates chances, she scores goals. I mean, is there anything else left to say about Ella Toone?
I'm sure Matt will find something.
Yeah, she learned it from me.
What are your thoughts, Matt, on what Rahul just said?
Yeah, I mean, he's covered it well. I mean, I was looking further up on his article about the whole team in terms of ball recovery. And I think if I just scroll up, ball recovery is 855 so far this season, which is obviously the highest in the league. I think, just like you said, I think if you do notice sort of, or some people may not, but sort of a tracking back, and like I said, it's kind of like box to box sometimes, the way she'll press in the final third, but also look to recover and sort of help out on the defensive side. I think, as touched on there, in terms of from an attacking midfielder, it's quite rare. And looking again at the stats that we've sort of talked through and how she kind of excels in not only the final third but sort of a defensive thing as well. I think it's great, and also sort of ball recovery through balls as well. I think I read she's up there, with the highest success rate of sort of through balls and sort of linking, beforehand, getting the attacks going and things. But I think, very, very, what I'd say key to our midfield now. I really would. I think she's come on sort of leaps and bounds these last season and a half, definitely since the championship. I think she's established herself now. Obviously, she was very young at Man City and didn't get, in my opinion, a fair chance to show fully what she can do. But I think now sort of, she's reverted to that central sort of role. I think we've seen a lot more from her all-around game, and I think it's helped develop her, because I think for me, when I saw her and she started out on the right, she'd track back and cover sort of that right back area, which is fine, but you didn't see that box to box and that link up play. And I think her ball recovery is key, and I think what's great is that when she presses, you've kind of got Jackie in behind as the second press, so that if the first press is beaten and somebody gets past Ella, Jackie's straight on it and they can interchange that. And I think if Jackie's pressing likewise, Ella will sit, and then you've got Hayley. And I think that trio of sort of Hayley, Jackie, Ella at the minute is working absolute wonders. And I think for me, it's sort of key why, one, we're so high up and, we've had so much success kind of going forward. And I think, two, when we talked about that spine of the defence, it's very interesting sort of to see the role those trios play. And like we talked about before, John, when we were on about formations, I think getting those three individuals to know their roles and individual in those formations is absolutely massive.
And if I could just add, sorry, John, if I could just add, so these statistics might have changed a little bit here and there, but I also forgot to mention she's actually completed 42 ball recoveries, and 37 of them have been in the opposition half, which again, goes to show that she loves winning the ball up the pitch so that she can score. And I think I read a comment somewhere here that 3 or 4 of her interceptions up the pitch have led directly to a goal. And I think, and that's really, really brilliant to see. So, It's one more thing.
That's
about
why I
Everton.
think she's always playing 10, because I know people come on here and they say LD should play 10, or they say Press should play 10, or they say Tobin should play 10. But I think the stats for Ella, the defensive work, this is why she'll always be playing over everyone else. Because I think for Casey, it's so important that you attack from the front, you defend from the front. She's a defender, so she wants everyone to be able to defend, and it's good to see.
It comes down to what we started, what we said as soon as Rahul came on about Casey's philosophy, isn't it? The work rate's there, the defensive stability is there. It's all just kind of pieces together very nicely. Before we leave the show, I'm interested to see what Rahul thinks about the actual WSL, who's going to finish in the top 3 places. What order do you think, being a City fan? Just wondering who you think will be first, second, third or fourth?
It's really tough to call. I think it'll still be like United City, Chelsea and Arsenal in the top 4 spots. I do think Chelsea are really, really strong at the moment. They seem to be, they seem to be getting everything right at the moment. And obviously quality team. They beat us in the Conti Cup as well. I think United in the league, but Jonathan, I still think it could be Chelsea, it could be United. It really depends on results. City might not be title contenders. I'm not very sure at the moment. Obviously, we've been playing good football, but I think the gap between the first 2 teams and teams in third and fourth might just be a little too much to overcome come the end of the season. So yeah, it's something close to that.
I think that's pretty much fair enough. I think that's a quite honest account of what's going on at the moment. Let's look forward to the derby in February. It's not too long now. I think it's about 2 weeks away. So definitely looking forward to that. And we've got things planned on this channel regarding that as well. Rahul, thank you very much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. I'm glad that we've got a chance to do it. If anybody wants to find you on Twitter or your articles, or is there any addresses or any web addresses that you want to shout out?
Just my Twitter. I think it's on screen. So you guys can, contact me there if you want to read the article, if you want the link to that, or if you want to talk about anything, WSL, Premier League. I'm always up for a good chat. So, yep.
Thank you very much. Just before we go, this Thursday coming, transfer deadline day. So we have got a journalist from Jamaica. Is that right, Nat?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the screen, yeah. So you can understand what the base of the show is going to be about. But it will be really interesting to see what Man United is like over in Jamaica as well, how big it is, how much interaction that there is over there. But we've also got a couple of guests appearing as well for transfer deadline day. So we do want to try and make it for not just Man United fans, but for the whole of the WSL, something that we want to do for transfer deadline day. We have really pushed transfers over January. We've spoken about it a lot. Natalie's really pioneered that, and I think we've done a cracking job on this channel, really talking about women's transfers. So I think it would be wrong for us not to do something on transfer deadline day. So we've got something lined up. Sorry, I just have to put
Wait.
You never know, John.
Can't wait.
Thanks, John.
Ben, what's your socials, mate?
On the screen, mate. Barmy MUWFC or Benjamin Brazil on the old Instagram.
Matt?
Yeah, put mine on screen. Matt Crane 15, Twitter, same on Instagram as well. What I will add as well is it's actually pinned our current poll on the All for United women's page. If you want to get involved in the build-up for Thursday, add your thoughts. There's currently sort of a couple of names we've thrown out between us with discussions, but, feel free to add, strikers or other positions and get involved, and we can, can look to work that in Thursday's show as well.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on John Foster MUFC on Twitter. Natalie, yourself?
Natalie _17. Always LinkedIn, always willing to chat, talk anything. WSL, women's football, and Man United.
Super. That's it. Come to the end of the show. Thank you again for Football Town for giving us those freebies. Look out for those on one of the All for United shows. And that's it. We will see you on Thursday. See you guys.
Cheers. See ya.
Thank you.
Cheerio.